chapter 11, which is the white spirit. That sounds so pretty and poetic. What is that chapter about?
The chapter on white is all about clarity, purification, and clarification. So it's the process where we get clean, clear, we wipe the slate, we reset. And oftentimes when we talk about that in nutrition, we think of detoxification, or
Yes.
we think of fasting, we think of like moving away from food and into that place of really our non-physical body, which is, it's interesting because so many people are moving away from food and doing intermittent fasting and the
Yes.
benefits of that for nerve health. And that's where I put nerve health within the rainbow diet, is within the whole chapter on the white spirit. The nerve wiring through our body is very fine. White and the spirit is all about the finer systems of the body, the electromagnetic fields that we carry, the very small, delicate nervous wiring that we have throughout our whole body, the meridians, the entire energy field. And so what we're doing here is removing what gets in the way of that. So that could be things like electromagnetic fields that come from our computer or our phone. In fact, we just finished a blog on that, all the things that you can do from a nutritional standpoint. So when we think of white foods, we might think of things that are not as good for us. So things like white bread, white flour, white salt, white sugar.
White
And
rice.
just
Yes.
white rice, that's another good one to mention. So each of these colors has their own spectrum with, yes, the wonderful healing benefits, and then the other side where more the depleting processed effects. And what I just mentioned would be on the processed depleting. The healthful would be the clarifying white, the things that are pungent or that allow our body to release, whether it's garlic or it's coconut, coconut, different aspects of coconut, whether it's coconut oil or coconut fiber, coconut meal in some way, that all of these different things are adding to the body in ways that can be healing and beneficial.
What are your thoughts on white rice? It's such a highly debated topic in the West, and yet, you've got several billion people, both India, China, and most of Asia, that have lived for thousands of years on white rice.
Yeah, it's a really good question. Often food in and of themselves aren't typically bad or good. You have to look at the context in which it's being eaten. And so if you're just having lots of white rice on the plate with some vegetables that are coated in a syrup made of cornstarch and sugar and some salt and an MSG infused sauce of some type, I mean, obviously it's not really additive. It just depends on the amount. It depends on the person. White rice in and of itself can be higher glycemic, which means that it can provoke more of a blood sugar response. So in people who have blood sugar issues, if you don't have protein or fat together with that white rice, it may spike blood sugar. So food is so much about the context in which we eat it within. So I would say to look at the larger picture, the bigger palette.
Glad to hear you say that, because I think we get a lot of our data without context. One, crazy attention grabbing headline after another. So thank you for clarifying that it's all about what is that food being eaten in context of.